She cheated, had another man's baby, and now her family's mad at me for refusing to play dad. Hello, Reddit I plus here. I guess if you had asked me 3 years ago what my future looked like, I would have said something simple. Wife, house, kids, retirement someday, by a lake. Nothing flashy. I wasn't aiming for crazy money or adventure, just peace. Her name was Rachel. We met at a mutual friend's barbecue when we were both 26. She had this easy laugh and this sparkle in her eyes when she talked about wanting a big family. I fell fast and hard. Within 2 years, we were married in a small ceremony at her parents' lake house. Rachel was everything I thought I wanted. She was funny, thoughtful, and whenever I came home after long days at the construction site, she made me feel like it was all worth it. We weren't rich, but we were happy, or at least I thought we were. About a year into our marriage, things shifted. She started working late. At first it made sense. She got promoted to office manager at the small marketing firm she worked at. But then came the canceled date nights, the trips she said she needed to take for networking, and the sudden password changes on her phone. I ignored it. Told myself I was being paranoid. We started trying for a baby around that time, too. She said she wanted to wait a bit longer, but sometimes she'd slip, saying things like, "I just want us to be ready, you know." I bought it. I wanted to believe her, until she got pregnant. At first, I was ecstatic. I cried when she showed me the test. We cried together, told everyone. Her parents threw a huge announcement dinner at their place, but something felt off. I brushed it off as nerves, but the little things piled up. The timeline didn't make sense. The math didn't add up. When she claimed she conceived, we were barely even having sex because of how distant she'd gotten. And then came the real kicker, the prenatal blood test. We got it done to check for any early issues. It also tested paternity, something I didn't know until the doctor casually mentioned it during a follow-up, and the results didn't match. I wasn't the father. At first, I thought there had to be a mistake. I went home in a fog. I didn't confront Rachel right away. I needed to be sure. So I paid out of pocket for a private test. 2 weeks of walking around like a ghost in my own home. 2 weeks of pretending everything was fine while inside, something was splintering apart. When the second test came back, it confirmed it, 100%. Not my child. I confronted her the same night. She cried, begged, told me it was one mistake, that it was meaningless, that she didn't even know she was pregnant until months later. I asked her the question that had been burning in my gut. How long? Her face crumpled. She wasn't just with him once. It was a full-blown affair, with some guy from her work, Jason, a married guy. His wife didn't know either. I packed a bag and left that night. Rachel's family didn't react how I expected. I thought, naively, that they'd be furious at her, that they'd understand why I couldn't stay. But instead, I got phone calls, texts, even a goddamn handwritten letter from her mother, all saying the same thing. Family is more than blood. You made a vow. The baby is innocent. He needs a father. Her father cornered me outside my apartment one night, red-faced and angry, telling me I was abandoning my responsibilities, like the betrayal their daughter inflicted didn't even matter. Rachel, meanwhile, started this campaign. She'd send me sonograms, photos of the nursery she was decorating, the one we had picked out furniture for before I even knew the truth. She even had the nerve to tell mutual friends that I was being cruel by punishing a baby for something it had no control over. And yeah, the guilt gnawed at me sometimes, not because I thought they were right, but because a part of me wanted to be the man I had pictured in my head. Husband, father, provider, protector, except none of it was real. Fast forward to the birth. I stayed away, even though Rachel's mom called me in the middle of the night, crying, saying Rachel needed me. I didn't go. I couldn't. 2 weeks later, Rachel's best friend Sam reached out. She asked to meet up, said there were things I needed to know. I almost didn't go. I was tired of the drama, the manipulations, but curiosity got the better of me. At the cafe, Sam looked nervous. She fidgeted with her coffee cup for a good 10 minutes before finally blurting it out. Rachel knew the baby wasn't mine before she even told me she was pregnant. She had been trying to trap me. Apparently, Jason, the real father, made it clear he wasn't leaving his wife. Rachel panicked. Didn't want to be a single mom. Didn't want to deal with the shame in our small town. So she decided it would be easier to pretend the baby was mine. Marry the lie. Sam showed me text messages between them. Full conversations where Rachel literally spelled it out. I can convince him it's his. He's so excited. He'll never question it. Once the baby's here, it won't matter. It hit me like a freight train. This wasn't a mistake. This wasn't a tragic one-night stand or a slip of judgment. It was planned deception. A betrayal so deep, it made my skin crawl. After that, I cut ties completely. changed my number, blocked her family, sent a formal letter through my lawyer to make it clear I wanted no legal responsibility. No signing the birth certificate, no paternity claim, nothing. Rachel tried to fight it at first. Tried to guilt me, threatened to go public, paint me as a deadbeat. I didn't care anymore. People can think what they want. I wasn't going to spend my life raising a living, breathing reminder of the way the woman I loved stabbed me in the back, and then smiled while I bled. Now, it's been about a year. I moved 3 towns over, started fresh. Therapy's been a lifeline, helping me realize that walking away wasn't weakness, it was strength. Rachel still posts pictures online, poses like the perfect mom. Sometimes mutual friends try to update me. Did you see what she posted? But I don't look. I don't care. I don't hate the kid. I hope he has a good life, but he's not mine. And for the first time in a long time, I'm starting to feel free. Even with everything I knew, everything Sam showed me. It took a long time for the anger to settle. At first, it was white-hot rage, not just at Rachel, but at myself. How did I miss it? How did I let her play me like that? Some nights, I'd lie awake staring at the ceiling, replaying every conversation, every kiss, every "I love you," wondering how much of it was a lie, how much of it was her seeing me not as a husband, but as a safety net. I got obsessed with the details. Things I used to brush off became glaring red flags in hindsight, like the way she'd always check her phone under the table, the business trips where she'd come home smelling like cologne that wasn't mine, the coldness in bed, the quick fights about nothing, the way she'd pick at me like she was trying to create distance so she could justify what she was doing. I wasn't crazy, I just didn't want to see it. 6 months after the divorce papers were finalized, I ran into Rachel's dad at a grocery store. He cornered me in the frozen foods aisle like we were characters in some bad soap opera. He was drunk. You could smell it on him. And he started yelling, loud enough that people turned to stare. He accused me of abandoning my son, said I was a coward, said Rachel was raising that boy all on her own because I was too weak to step up. I didn't say a word, not one. I just stared at him, feeling nothing but a weird, hollow sadness, because it hit me then. They didn't care about the truth. They cared about appearances, about preserving their little fairy tale, even if it was built on lies. It was never about me. It was never about love. It was about control. But here's the thing about walking through fire. If you survive, you come out stronger. I started building a new life, made new friends who didn't know Rachel, went back to school part-time, got my degree in construction management, got promoted, started working on building my own house, a dream I had buried while I was busy trying to build a future with someone who was never really in it with me. Slowly, the nightmares faded, the anger dulled to a scar. Then, just 3 months ago, almost exactly a year after the divorce, I got a letter, handwritten, no return address. It was from Jason's wife. Turns out, the truth has a way of clawing itself to the surface no matter how deep you bury it. Jason had gotten caught. His wife found out about the affair, not just with Rachel, but with multiple women. Their marriage exploded. She filed for divorce, took half of everything, and in the mess of discovery, found out something else. Jason had gotten a paternity test done, in secret, after Rachel's baby was born. And the results? Jason wasn't the father either. Let that sink in. The man Rachel destroyed our marriage for, the man she thought would be her backup plan if I walked, wasn't the father. The baby isn't mine. It isn't Jason's. It's some other guy's. No one knows who. Rachel doesn't know who. She slept around that much. And she built her whole life, her whole guilt trip, her whole campaign to paint me as a monster. On a lie inside a lie inside a lie. When I finished reading that letter, I just laughed. Not a bitter laugh, not an angry one, a free one. Because for the first time, I realized none of it had ever really been about me. Rachel wasn't mourning me. She wasn't mourning us. She was mourning the life she thought she could manipulate into existence. The easy security she thought she could con out of loyalty and guilt. And I had finally escaped it. These days, when people ask if I ever want to get married again, I'm honest. I say maybe, if the right person comes along, but I'm not chasing it. I'm not chasing some idea of what a perfect life is supposed to look like. I'm not sacrificing my peace to fix someone else's broken promises, and if that makes me the bad guy in someone else's story, so be it. At least this time, I'm the hero of my own.